Well, hi everyone, and welcome back. Okay, I hope you enjoyed Junie B. Jones Loves Handsome Warren. We finished that chapter book, and I'm going to introduce you to Amelia Bedelia. It's called Teach Us, Amelia Bedelia, and this is by Peggy Parish, and the illustrations, the pictures are by Lynn Sweat. But first I want to get started with the joke. What do you call two spiders that just got married? Newlyweds instead of newlyweds. Okay, couple of things about Amelia Bedelia. If you've never heard an Amelia Bedelia book, she is a very interesting lady. She's very, very sweet. She is a housekeeper for a lady, so she usually is always wearing this outfit. And this is called Teach Us. Amelia Bedelia is someone who always takes things very literally. And that means if you tell her to do something, she does exactly what you tell her to do. Exactly. And sometimes that's not how it was meant. So that's what we're going to figure out with this story. So first of all, I thought this was really sweet. This is called an acknowledgement page. And that's when, or a dedication page, either way. And that's when an author of a book dedicates the book to someone that they know. And it says, "For Miss Rose, my first grade teacher who introduced me to the magic of words, with love." So that's what the author dedicated the book to. Okay, so this book has cute, funny pictures. I'm going to show you kind of the very, very beginning. This is how it starts. That is Amelia Bedelia in her clothes. She's usually in her working clothes. And that is her housekeeping clothes, because usually housekeepers do a lot of house cleaning. The telephone was ringing. I'm coming, said Amelia Bedelia. She answered the telephone. "Miss Rogers," she said, "where are you?" Okay, so there's an old telephone. You can tell it's an old telephone because this telephone has a cord, and we don't even have these kinds of telephones anymore. That might give us a clue that this is a pretty old book. There are some other clues in here too. "I'm at the airport in Pinewood," said Mrs. Rogers. Oh, Mrs. Rogers is the lady who owns the home that Amelia Bedelia works for. So she is Mrs. Rogers' house cleaner. "You didn't tell me you were going away," said Amelia Bedelia. "I'm not," said Mrs. Rogers. "I'm meeting the new teacher, but her plane is late." "That's too bad," said Amelia Bedelia. And so there is Amelia Bedelia on one end of the phone, right? And way across town is her Mrs. Rogers, and she's calling from the airport. "The telephone at the school is out of order," Mrs. Rogers went on. "Please go to Mr. Carter's office at the school. Tell him what I said." "I'll go right now," said Amelia Bedelia. Amelia Bedelia got her things. She walked to school. "Where is Mr. Carter's office?" she asked. "That first door," said a child. Amelia Bedelia walked in. Still in her clothes. "Mrs. Rogers tried to call you," she said, "but your telephone is out of order." "I know," said Mr. Carter, "but thank goodness you're here. The children are going wild. Miss Lane left a list for today." "I'll take you to the room." He handed Amelia Bedelia the list. Okay, something about Amelia Bedelia. Whenever she has a list, she always does everything on the list exactly how it's written. So pay close attention, okay? "Follow me," he said. They went down the hall. Mr. Carter opened a door. Children were all over the place. "All right," said Mr. Carter. "Quiet. This is your new teacher." "Me teach?" said Amelia Bedelia. But Mr. Carter was gone. So there's Mr. Carter leaving. But look, here are all the kids kind of going crazy in the classroom. So another clue that this is an old story or written a long time ago. Teachers don't leave kids. Not quite sure they used to do that back in the olden days either. She looked at the children. They looked at her. "I'm Amelia Bedelia," she said. The children giggled. "You're nice," said Amelia Bedelia. "I do like happy children, but we have a lot to do." Oh my goodness, and did you notice it was so crazy before they got in, like this guy's trying to fix his desk. Now she's bringing things back to order. She held up the list. We must do just what this says, she said. Now what's first? Amelia Bedelia read, call the roll. She looked puzzled. Call the roll? What roll? She said. All right. Now, boys and girls, do you know what that means in a school when someone says call the roll? What do you think that means? It means to take attendance. Okay, so let's hear what Amelia Bedelia does. Does anybody have a roll? I have, said Peter. Do get it, said Amelia Bedelia. Peter opened his lunchbox. Here it is, he said. Oh my goodness, look what kind of a roll she thinks it means. Like a roll, like a sandwich roll. Now I have to call it, said Amelia Bedelia. Roll, hey, roll. All right, that takes care of that. The children roared. Oh my goodness, there she is calling the roll. I think even the kids know that that's not what was meant. Amelia Bedelia read her list. Land sakes, she said, listen to this. Sing a song. I never was much of a hand at singing. So she's reading the list to her kids. But it says sing a song, so I'll sing. And she did. More, more, shouted the children. No, said Amelia Bedelia. It said sing a song. I did just that. Ah, said the children. So there she is singing. You can see because there's musical notes coming out of her voice. Now it's reading time, said Amelia Bedelia. I know about that. I read my cookbook. It tells me just what to do. She held up a book. Is this the right one? Yes, said Amanda. So she's checking with the kids about the book. Is that the right one she's supposed to read? Amelia Bedelia opened the book. I declare, she said, this is a good one. Are you ready? Yes, said the children. All right, said Amelia Bedelia. It says, run, run, run. The children just sat. Amelia Bedelia clapped her hands. Run, she said. Run, run, run. Amelia Bedelia ran, ran, ran. And look at the kids. I think the kids are catching on. But she always does exactly what she's told. The children ran after her. Around the room, through the halls, around the block they ran. Finally, they ran back into the room. They're probably thinking, this is the kookiest sub we've ever had. Amelia Bedelia plopped on her chair. That takes care of run, 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 she said. Your book plumb tired me out. Let's see what's next. I hope we don't have to run to do it. She looked at the list. She said, it's science time. Each of you should plant a bulb. Do you know about that? And there she is reading her list. Yes, said Tim. We brought our pots. Where are the bulbs? Said Amelia Bedelia. In the top closet, said Rebecca. Miss Lane said so. Amelia Bedelia looked and looked. Nothing here but some dried up onions, she said. So she's looking for the bulbs. Now look carefully. On the shelf, do you see those bulbs? Those are bulbs that we would plant, right? Amelia Bedelia doesn't see the kind of bulbs that she's looking for. So let's see what happens. You all go outside. Put some soil in your pots. I'll go buy some bulbs. Amelia Bedelia went to the store. She hurried back. Okay, boys and girls, another clue that this is an old story. Besides, you can tell by the book itself, it's an old story. But another thing that wouldn't happen, teachers would never leave a classroom today and go to a store. But let's see. The children were waiting. Here's a bulb for you, here's a bulb for you and you, said Amelia Bedelia. She gave everybody a bulb. The children looked surprised. Then they started giggling. Oh my goodness, look at the kind of bulbs that Amelia Bedelia thinks that she should have bought. Now remember, these are to plant. But they planted those bulbs. They put the pots on the windowsill. Those do look right pretty, said Amelia Bedelia, and I learned something new. I didn't know you could plant bulbs. Oh my goodness. Suddenly a bell rang. What's that for? Said Amelia Bedelia. Free time, yelled the children. Good, said Amelia Bedelia. The children ran outside. Amelia Bedelia sat down to rest. She does look kind of tired. Then free time ended. Back came the children. It's quiet time now, said Amelia Bedelia. You're supposed to read stories. Each child chose a book. All was quiet. Why aren't you reading? Said Amelia Bedelia. We are, said Ed. And there they are reading. I don't hear you, said Amelia Bedelia. The children looked at Amelia Bedelia. Then they looked at each other. And Amelia Bedelia heard them all right. My, I'll be glad when quiet time is over, she said. My ears hurt. So she thinks reading, they have to be reading out loud. They were reading quietly. She couldn't hear them. Jeff said, art comes next. That's fun. Amelia Bedelia looked at her list. You're right, she said. You must paint pictures now. The children got sheets of art paper. What are you doing? Said Amelia Bedelia. We're going to paint pictures, said Bud. But how can you? Said Amelia Bedelia. There's no pictures there to paint. We'll make some pictures, said Mary. Oh no, said Amelia Bedelia. This says to paint pictures. You can't paint a picture without a picture to paint. So she's just reading the list and explaining it to the kids. What do you think she means? Better find one for yourselves. The children ran around the room. Not a picture was left on the wall, but all the children were painting. Okay, look. They're taking pictures that are already painted from the walls. They're taking them down to paint them. Soon the pictures were back on the wall. They sure look different, said Steve. Yes, said Amelia Bedelia. Mr. Carter will be surprised. The children shook their heads. He sure will. Oh my goodness, look. All the pictures that were on the wall, you can see they've added their own art to them. Like this one has sunglasses now. I'm not quite sure Mr. Carter's going to be excited when he gets back. If I were a teacher of a classroom and my pictures got painted, I don't know if I'd be happy. Let's find out what happens next. What's next? Said Jamie. Our play, said Rebecca. We have to practice our play. Practice play, said Amelia Bedelia. You mean you have to practice play? School sure has changed since I went. All right, out you go. But Amelia Bedelia said the children. No buts, said Amelia Bedelia. Let's go start playing. Oh my goodness, what do you think the kids meant when they said practice play? We have to practice our play. What do you think that meant? Because that's where we're going to stop. And I'm not quite sure that she meant that really the list meant for them to go outside and play. But I want you to think about, what does that mean? Practice our play. What is a play? Something that we act out in. So we might see a play of kids acting like other people, like characters. And I think that might be what they meant. That's where we're going to stop for today. I hope you tune in tomorrow and we'll finish the rest of Amelia Bedelia Teaches Us.